Hi there. So, I thought that maybe it might be time for me to kind of give you my backstory on my chronic illnesses. Because I don't just have one, and if you saw my Warriors Unite video, which was kind of my intro video for the first of the year, then you kind of got the gist of the multitude of crap that is going on with my body. And I just kind of thought that it was time for me to kind of start with a little basic knowledge, so to speak. So, in 1999, I had my first orthoscopic knee surgery on my right knee. That was caused by what I thought was an injury. Now, I'd had problems with my knees pretty much all my life. They always ached. But I never got anywhere with doctors. They were always growing pains, or I even had one doctor tell me when I was like, I don't know, late teens, early adulthood, that I had underdeveloped cartilage. What the fuck? Yeah. Now, this injury that I sustained caused me to have my first orthoscopic knee surgery, and that's where my first orthopedist, who was a specialist in sports medicine, found that I had a defect, which was it was a soft spot in my meniscus in my knee, in my on the inside part of the knee. And we're not going to do the technical medical terms, but basically it was the inner upper part. So it would be like right here, if this was your knee joint, of the meniscus, which is your cartilage. I had a soft spot, and that's what had kind of broken away when I stepped in this hole. And my knee, when I stepped in this hole, my knee jammed and kind of hyperextended, causing that soft spot to break a little. And so they went in and they cleaned that all up, and that was my first knee surgery. And my second knee surgery on that same knee, on my right knee, was in 2005. I had, again, orthoscopic knee surgery with a different orthopedist, and again, to clean up all the little pieces of meniscus cartilage that was breaking off and floating about the joint. Fun, yes, fun. Now, at this point, I've been a hairstylist. I've, been working in retail since the age of 17. Then, I've worked as in auto parts as delivery driver for delivering to the auto shops, and, stocking the auto parts stores. And heavy stuff, and I wasn't really, I didn't have it in my head that I had this disease. All I knew was that I had a defect. The reality came when I had to go to yet a different orthopedist, and I loved this doctor. He was amazing because he was straightforward, and it didn't hurt that he was gorgeous. But that's when reality hit me, and that was the deal breaker. I was diagnosed with degenerative joint disease in my right knee, and there wasn't anything else that could be done with my right knee because there was nothing to be fixed. I was too young to have a knee replacement at the time. I'm still too young to have a knee replacement as far as they're concerned. So I've run the gamut of injections and all kinds of stuff that, from Synvisc and all of that stuff, and they did me no good. Those didn't work for me. Cortisone shots work for, some short periods of time. Those are, comforting for short periods of time. And then about 6 months later, my left knee started bothering me. X-rays were taken, and this gorgeous doctor looked at my knee on the X-ray, and he looked at me, and he put both those X-rays up there, and he says, "I have seen better looking knees on an 80-year-old. Oh, okay. What you gonna do about it, Doc? Well, there's nothing we can do. You're too young. You have degenerative joint disease in both your knees." Yeah. That was, to me, that was almost like a death sentence for my career. Basically, being a hairstylist, you're standing all day. You're on your feet, you're on your knees, you use legs, your joints. That's what is everything. And so began my journey. I just dealt with it. Anti-inflammatories, mostly after that. Ibuprofen, low-dose Vicodin when needed. At the time, I also was suffering from severe TMJ. I was supposed to have reconstructive surgery in 2000. But then they discovered that they couldn't just tie back the cartilage discs. They needed to completely reconstruct my entire jaw structure. And that portions of my insurance at the time wouldn't pay for, or my insurance wouldn't pay for portions of that surgery that was required. So I haven't had that done. That's just something that I deal with now and causes great headaches. So, moving on. Gradually, my lower back started bothering me worse and worse and worse. Thinking it was just my knees causing me to walk funky, I started going to an awesome chiropractor. First thing they do is x-rays. They won't touch you without x-rays, a good one. And my lower back was pretty messed up. My whole back is pretty messed up. My neck was pretty messed up. And he started working on me. And it was like every time he got me close to being fixed, my job would unfix it because of the angles at the shampoo bowl. I didn't work in a salon where you stood behind the shampoo bowl and, your hands were behind you. I was next to the shampoo bowl, bending at an odd angle. And so it got to a point where my chiropractor was just like, I can give you maybe a day's relief, but I can't do anything else for you. You're going to have to seek out more help. And I asked him, are you talking a spinal specialist, like for surgery? And he said yes. And that's when I knew my back was severely bad. When a chiropractor tells you to seek out a medical doctor because he can no longer provide you with relief, you know you are severely fucked. It's end game. So I went to a back specialist and they ordered MRIs. And I realized after looking at the MRIs, I had no discs left in my lower back. And I needed to have surgery. And we discussed alternatives to having, you know, my cartilage from other areas, or, you know, like having my own bone grown at a different lab and having it put back in me and all this other stuff. And that wasn't possible because I have degenerative disc disease now. So the alternative was to have this cage put in my vertebrae and have injections of this growth stuff to grow artificial discs. Now, that all went fine. I wasn't at all happy with the vascular surgeon that I had to meet with. He reminded me kind of like a soap opera star that was carved out of cream cheese. There was just something about him I didn't like, and I should have run right then and there. He was obviously, he obviously had a thing against larger women, and I was, a good 50 pounds lighter then, and he kept poking at my abdomen and just like, this is a lot of fatty tissue that we have to cut through, and just, it was very insulting and demeaning, and I should have gotten up and left and just, you know, but this was like the day before my surgery of September 2012. And I didn't. So on September 12th, 2012, I went to the hospital and I had anterior lumbar fusion, where they go in through your abdomen and fuse your spine. I had my L4, 5, and S1 fused. Here's the pictures. Now, in that picture, you could kind of see what looks like a paper bendy straw kind of sitting back behind my spine. Those are actually 3 separate stents in an artery in my abdomen. And I got those because a week after my back surgery, I developed deep vein thrombosis of my left leg. And the same vascular surgeon that did my surgery did not believe me that there was something wrong the first time I went to the emergency room, with extreme pain, redness, swelling, and hard upper thigh, and it was horrible. And they sent me home. 2 days later, I was back in the emergency room, and I had my mom took me, and it's a good thing because I really have no memory of most of that time. And what saved me is apparently there was another doctor, I think she said it was an internist or a specialist or something, that just happened to pass by and saw me in excruciating pain, and he happened to see my leg, this bright red extremity, and he came in and asked what the problem was, I guess, and ordered an ultrasound of my leg. And my mom said that my leg looked like it had gravel from my groin all the way down to my ankle. And that's how bad the blood clots were in my left leg. It was just like solid blood clots. And so I spent several days in the hospital being treated for that. I had the IBC filter put in through my neck. I had tubes sticking out of my calf just below my left knee. And I was in ICU. And I remember people telling me, people that were my friends, you did this to yourself. This is all your own fault. You didn't get up and walk as much as you needed to after your back surgery. It's all your fault. Well, no, it wasn't. I did not cause an abnormality to happen in my abdomen to cause this vein to fall on the artery and collapse an artery. Not my fault. And, and one of those people was a nurse that I really considered to be one of my good friends. And it crushed me to hear these people telling me this, that it was my fault. I did this to myself. And so 6 months of being on blood thinners, gaining weight left and right, I averaged 10 pounds a week. The doctor's saying nothing. I started working out at a friend's gym. She offered it free to me to help me get my strength back. I was walking with a cane. I was having a hard time walking. My balance was fucked. I had severe weakness in my left leg. My back felt better, but my leg was toast. It was swollen. It was horrible. And I ended up filing for Social Security that month, in October that year, actually. I ultimately got rid of the cane in January of 2013 because I knew that I did not want that cane. Nope. I didn't want to decorate it. I didn't want to make it pretty. I didn't want to bling that motherfucker up. Nope. I didn't want to have a cane. I didn't want to have a walker. I didn't want to have crutches. I'd already lost my career. It was gone. The doctor told me that I wasn't going to be standing behind a chair anymore. So I'm waiting on my third appeal right now with Social Security. I've finally been diagnosed with fibromyalgia. That was kind of a relief. I was not upset about that at all. It was like a relief. It was a weight lifted off me. And I was just like, man, finally, just something normal, Basically, for me, what the fibro does is it just intensifies what the arthritis does to my body. Basically, what degenerative joint and disc disease is osteoarthritis. It's completely different from rheumatoid arthritis, meaning I can't have, there's not the same meds that I can take for this. They can gradually start replacing joints, but that's pretty much it. Here, have some pain meds. Here, have some anti-inflammatories. Oh, watch your liver. Oh, watch your kidneys. But yeah, that's what osteoarthritis is. It still tears up your joints. It still disfigures. It causes a horrible pain. And having fiber on top of that just makes that kind of multiply. I have lost relationships, friendships. I currently live with my mother, who pays my bills, basically. I'm waiting to get my Social Security disability approved because I can't stand for very long. I can't walk for very long. I can't sit for very long. And it's frustrating. I'm not angry about my fibro. I could have lived with that, really. What makes me the angriest is losing my career. And it's to have something one day and not have it the next. You can't describe that feeling. It's not like losing a loved one. It's totally different. I can't even begin to explain it. But I did go back to school. I got my license for laser hair removal. Just before graduation, I had something tear in my right shoulder. I had a small tear in my glenoid capsule. It wasn't big enough for surgery. I now have degeneration started in my right shoulder. Can't keep my arms up for any length of time. And I have like really gross swelling stuff going on under my arms, which is really disgusting. I hate it. And I have a lot of people ask me, why are you getting all these tattoos on your arms? Well, for one, they're beautiful. And for two, eventually it's going to cover up this crud that I don't like, because until they tell me what it is, I don't know what it is. It wasn't there before all these meds I took, started taking. So, I have nerve damage in my left leg. I have something going on in my right foot. My neck is just totally fucked. That's all I can. We'll just leave it at that. My neck is fucked. It is what it is. So that's kind of it for now. There's more. There's a lot more, really, and that's a whole nother video. And we'll get into that another time. So until then, treat yourself well, and if you feel good and it's a beautiful day, go sit outside and enjoy it. Watch those butterflies, because, they've struggled very, very, very hard to become that thing of beauty. Just like you did. Just like I did. And they're there for us to see. So go watch them.